Alrighty, it is time for me to introduce my lovely guest here in the studio. I have, should I say lead animator or supervisor animator now?
Animation supervisor.
Animation supervisor.
Yes.
I have animation supervisor Meena Ibrahim. Hello, Meena, how are you?
Hi, Omar.
Okay, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Yeah. So, if you do not know who Meena is, shame on you, first of all. Second of all, he is working on some of your, or worked and still working on some of your biggest movies, or your favorite biggest movies, including, not limited to, How to Train Your Dragon. That is your latest.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
The live action version.
The live action.
So
correct.
yeah, he's working on big stuff, as well as Spidey on Spider-Man No Way Home, and even a lot of other movies, like, for example, Suicide Squad.
That's true.
The one that had King Shark in it.
Exactly.
I think
yes.
you worked on one specific shot that I really loved. It's
yes.
when King Shark eats the guy whole.
Absolutely.
It's
swallowing a whole guy. Yes.
Yeah, it's a
that
bit
was my
brutal.
shot. Yes.
But it is a hilarious shot nevertheless. So yeah, first I would like to open the door for you to introduce yourself in a way that you know how to talk about yourself, what you're working on, how would people like to know you. So please do.
So I'm Meena Ibrahim, and I work as an animation supervisor and director for animation and visual effects. I've worked on multiple movies, as you mentioned, and between cartoon features or like feature animation and visual effects movies as well. I currently work, as you mentioned, I just wrapped last year How to Train Your Dragon, and worked on Spider-Man No Way Home, and worked on Suicide Squad, so probably you mentioned the big ones, but also Wonka and His Dark Materials TV show.
The Wonka is the Timothée Chalamet one.
Timothy Chalamet, the latest one, the Paul King movie.
Okay.
And before that, I worked in cartoon features like Hotel Transylvania, like Angry Birds, like Smurfs, and I've been in the industry for over 15 years now.
How do you get into it?
How did
you start?
It's a nice story. It's I've actually started, like, I was raised here in Cairo, and I graduated from fine arts, interior design.
Okay.
Shout out to my friends in fine arts, and. And then in the last year, I decided to switch to animation. I found my love in animation and storytelling, basically, and I wanted to do that professionally. And I started by studying here in Egypt in ITI, which is the institution to, it was a great foundation to learn about the 3D animation.
Were there certain movies when you were watching growing up that pushed you towards that shift towards animation?
Absolutely. Like, since I was a kid, Who Framed Roger Rabbit was one of them, and it was the beauty of seeing like cartoon characters with live action. That was to me, it was magic.
So it's full circle now.
It is, absolutely.
You watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and animated. It was more cartoonish than 3D animation that we see today with live action, and now we got How to Train Your Dragon 3D animated with live action.
Exactly, absolutely. And I think that's kind of initiated the love of I want to do that. I just didn't know how.
Okay.
So once I graduated, I started by studying here in Egypt, as I mentioned, and then I traveled to Vancouver Film School, where I studied animation and got a diploma in 3D character animation. And then I worked for a couple of years after, then started my career in the movie industry. My first film, I think it was Smurfs 2.
Okay.
Which was, long time ago.
Do you remember your shot in Smurfs 2?
I did multiple shots. Like, usually the animator is kind of like, we are like the shy actors of the movie. So we do like the digital kind of acting. So I animated multiple shots. Like, maybe the most important one, like in the very beginning, the Smurfs who they were all sitting, and the one reading the book, and there were probably 11 Smurfs in that shot. That was one of my shots in the beginning of the movie, and then a lot of Gargamel fighting the Smurfette and all that stuff. So I worked in multiple, you don't only work on one or sequence or one shot. It's usually you take multiple shots throughout the production.
And I'm assuming that when you are provided a scene, you don't know which at what point in that movie that shot's going to be established, or do you already have a time frame or the timeline of the actual movie? Oh, I'm doing this scene where it's at the end of the movie. Oh no, I'm doing this scene in the middle of the movie. Or you got a scene and you're doing it. That's it.
It's a great question, because actually we're not just doing technical stuff. We are kind of artists. So in order to, like, you know, like an actor, in order to understand your role and what's happening, you have to know the context and you have to know the whole story and what are the motivations, and, like, you know, the it's exactly like the actors method do, and that's how we prepare even for our work. So of course you have to have a good idea about the whole story.
So within that, do you guys get the whole script regarding the whole what's going to happen, or it's just you got the few pages of your scene because another person is working on a few pages on another scene, or if it's, for example, distributed on different animation houses, they have certain scripts or certain scenes of scripts, and you have your own screen to avoid things like leaks and things like that?
Absolutely, that's also a great question, because I think it's when it's a big movie and it's distributed over like multiple vendors or studios, definitely you don't know much except like the few shots before and after, so that you know the context, as I mentioned. But of course it's distributed on different studios, but in many cases it's only one studio that's handling the whole movie, and in that case we get the opportunity to kind of see the full progress and the context of the whole movie.